Hello, this is Randy, and welcome back to Brain Break. I'm very excited to have you with me again today. I appreciate all of you that have watched and have made great comments. And even the likes are nice. By the way, like and subscribe, as they say. I want to tell you a story of my life when I was going to school. I came home from my mission and went immediately to BYU and transferred down to the University of Arizona. I'm glad I did because I was able to meet my wife there. We've been married for 44 years. We have 3 children and 10 grandchildren. We're not sure we're going to get any more, but we sure have fun with the ones we have. Our youngest is not quite a year, and our oldest is 14. We do have 5 boys and 5 girls. Now, the reason I tell you about marrying her is I had no idea how to make all of this marriage thing work while going to school. Well, I'm old enough that when I went to school, there weren't the loans for school that they have now, or if they were, it wasn't common knowledge. There were scholarships, sure. They were hard to get. There weren't as many as there are now. I couldn't tell you why. But I remember it felt easier to me to keep working. So I went to school full time and worked full time, which meant I didn't see my wife or my child very often. But that was how I planned on getting out of school and being able to get a job. To give you an idea, I hear about people getting out of debt with 100, 200, 400, even $600,000 in debt. My wife and I were terrified because we owed $5,000 from the birth of our child. We just felt horrible about it. That just shows you how things have changed. One of the things we did was we managed apartments. As part of that, they gave you an apartment to stay in. You collected the rent, did minor repairs for, I think I got paid $5 an hour. I could repair most anything in the apartments except the air conditioner. Even that, I knew some tricks to make it work better. So it was replacing the washers in the faucets so they wouldn't leak and drip, replacing the flapper in a toilet, uh, fixing a shower head, just minor things. When people would move out, they would pay us to paint the apartment. Well, pretty soon they started asking us to do more than one complex. So we formed a little company. We would go and do it. Or better yet, I hired friends that were willing to do it. I would pay them $4. I kept $1 for keeping it all organized and getting them the job. They were happy at that. You got to understand, back then minimum wage was probably $1.75 an hour. Frankly, in a couple of the places we lived, there were some people that paid us to clean their apartments every week. They were too old or too tired, just didn't want to bother with it. So we'd go in and clean the windows, sometimes wash dishes, do the laundry, and get paid for it. It was just money. And back then, I remember thinking, as we were younger, we thought, "Oh wow, we're really poor," but we never really thought of it as any great shakes of a business. So when we got a job offer to move to El Paso, Texas, from Tucson, Arizona, uh, found somebody to take over that business, but I never talked to them about buying the business from me. They didn't have any money. I never thought about selling the business. I gave them the business, gave them the information, who the contacts were, had them work with me enough so they could make the business run. A couple of years later, we were back in Tucson, probably for a wedding or something, and we saw them, and they were getting ready to move now that they had finished school. They told me they'd sold it. They sold it for enough for buying a house. I was just shocked. I never thought about selling it. My goal was to help somebody. Even though I was a business major, I'd never thought about this as really being a business, though I ran it like a business and kept good books and so on. I guess the thing I'd like to say is I think most of us undervalue our efforts and ourselves. If we look at ourselves the way the world sees us, we are quite valuable. Unfortunately, throughout your life, people will try and get you to do something for nothing. It's only when you really, truly recognize your value that you're able to get what you're worth and obtain the things that you like. Now, you may not stay there forever. We all have different ways of doing it. I mean, I have a friend that literally spent his whole life, he's a little older, changing jobs. For him to hold a job more than a few years was unusual. But his pay was quite high, and he would have been happier if he'd had invested that money differently, or had made sure he had an IRA for him and his wife every year. But that's probably the only thing he didn't like, because he was always learning new things. He's one of the best guys I know. In today's world, I think we'll see more of that, where people are having to move just to keep things going. But I'm 67. I'm starting a new job on Monday. I'm going to keep doing Brain Break with Randy and Keitho because I enjoy it. But there are companies that truly value people that are older. You don't have to just go to Walmart and get a job as a greeter or something. There's a lot of knowledge and experience that older people bring. As you're younger, respect that and learn from them. I learned so much from all the people I worked with over the years. I never assumed that I knew more than someone else. I wanted to learn from them. I did. It was incredible. Like I say, I spent 40 years in the chemical industry and the water treatment industry because I was able to teach people how to do things. And that's my goal, is to continue to learn and continue to enjoy life. But again, don't undervalue yourself. If you build something up and it's worth something, sell it. Sell it for a reasonable price. Oftentimes, I know that when I was in the chemical business, I wanted to buy a company. Now, all of their business was bid business. They got all their business from the municipal bids. When we talked about buying them, we valued them they opened their books to us and we knew what their value was. And then they wanted, let's say we valued it at $1 million, they wanted $3 million for it. I finally had to ask, I'm not seeing it, and I've had a lot of accounting classes, where's the other $2 million from? They said, goodwill. I just laughed. I said, all your business is bid business. You have to be the low bidder to get the business. Where's the goodwill? They ignored me. Anyway, we didn't end up buying that business. Somebody else did, and they've had good luck with it. But I don't know what they paid for it. I'm sure they paid about what we were asked to pay or more. That's fine. People spend money and that's what you do. But again, don't undervalue your efforts. It's common. People always want you to do something for nothing or something for very little. Read the paperwork clearly. Anyway, this is Brain Break for Randy. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll like and subscribe. Please tell your friends and family about us. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day.